and welcome to RVing in New England. Feels like the Saturday night version on Wednesday night, or we did the Wednesday night version on Saturday night, but here we're back at it again.
The funny thing, Bob, is a couple days now I've said to my wife, what day is this?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that a lot of people have said the same thing. What day is that? But you know what? We're in uncharted waters, and we will get through it, and we'll come out stronger at the other side.
No doubt. You spend when you do spend your week at home, you do lose track of all kind of time and days of the week. And I woke up this morning thinking it was Saturday. And I said, no, it can't be Saturday. I've got a show to do tonight. So we got
to realize we did a show on Saturday.
Right, exactly. So we're going to continue that discussion. So we got Michelle's on. Hi, Michelle. And Walter's on. And Scott Nichols is on. Riney's on. So we got something a little bit special tonight. Let me see if I can find our friend Nick, who is en route around the country here. I had him up. I had him up on a test.
Special.
1 second. Yes. Boom.
We have a special correspondent, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, come on up, Nick. So we have Nick Wright and Michelle, his wife. And
Hi.
Nick, hello, Michelle. And he is the owner of, and one of our Nerva dealers, Unlimited RV in Connecticut. You've seen his post on our show. And Nick, why don't you tell them why we invited you on tonight? Because you're not in Connecticut.
Sure. We're in some town in Oklahoma right now, and it's 88 degrees. But when everything started to happen there a couple weeks ago, and once the kids were sent home from school, and we knew that would be an extended spring break, we said, hey, let's take advantage. Let's do the business that we have to do, and let's get out of town and do the out west trip that we didn't have time for over this past winter. So we've decided to jump in an RV, put the off-road machines on the back, and head over to our old stomping grounds, Glamis, California, the sand dunes, and do a bunch of things that we haven't done with our kids yet, like the Grand Canyon and the biggest ball of yarn, all that stuff.
So Nick,
you're making lemon out of lemonade.
That's right.
Tell us the age of your kids, Michelle, and tell us, are they still intact? Are they beating each other up, or are they surviving, or do you have them duct taped to the bed?
They are 13 and 9, and they are still intact, surprisingly.
Yeah.
They're pretty good. They're doing better as they get older with the traveling.
Right. Did you get a unit, Nick, with bunks?
No, so this is a 28Z, so it has the cab over, queen in the back, and then the couch and stuff up front. So Lexi gets her own little room. Parker's just kind of out in the open.
Are you seeing much other additional RV traffic on the highways?
We wrote that down. I guess I don't know if chronicle's the right word or not, but that's what we're doing. And the initial thing coming from Connecticut, I wasn't in an RV then, I was just in the truck, but coming from Connecticut, the RV traffic was enormous, and majority of it was Class A's with dinghies in tow, as well as big fifth wheels.
And
I'm thinking that was snowbirds coming home at this time, so that kind of changed the picture there a little bit. But there is a lot of RV traffic. In fact, all the whenever we call ahead, and Michelle can go into that too later, but when we call ahead just a couple hours, once we know where we're going to be for the night, it's, hey, we got one spot left. Hey, we got one spot left. So people are traveling.
So basically people are hunkering down if the campgrounds that you're attempting to get in are filled up. Now you're in you said you're in a Flying J right now. As you look around, is it all trucks or cars or RVs? Oh, there's
so it's a good mix. Right beside us are some transport guys coming, I guess, to deliver trailers to dealers.
Oh, okay.
Your standard Indiana guys coming out of there.
There's you.
There's our rig that we're in now. We've got some machines on it, and we're heading to the desert.
So this is a man who uses the product that he sells and services. So people watching the show can call you up and rent this same. They can say, I want the Nick Wright RV. I want the one that Nick and his wife and the kids took out west, and they can rent it, right?
They can. They can do everything except tow that much with it.
Because
we limit customers towing to under 3,000 pounds.
okay.
We're right around 21,000 pounds right now, and we're right under the GCW, so we're good to go.
Okay.
Do as I say, not as I do.
So, what have the kids said so far about the trip, about going back to school, and the normalcy aspect of their life, which is not intact right now?
Yeah.
If they get back to school this year, they just announced that they're closing hours through May 4th, just a couple of hours ago. So kids are going to be home a little bit longer. Let me just catch up on people. So we had Riney, Jerry Plant from Cape Cod, made his RV in Cape Cod. He'll enjoy that. Diane Quayle from
Maine,
the great state of Maine, and the new Maine RV and Camping Club. Dennis Spencer, hello from Ohio. Hey, Dennis, thanks for joining. Lisa Warren, hello, Lisa. And Kevin Hiroki. And Kevin is our rep in New England for Cougar. Great rep. And he says, good evening, guys. Some uncertainty out there right now as we shut down production until April 13th, but retail registrations and new orders are coming in. Looks like the RV industry is going to come back stronger than ever. Our customers want to camp and spend time with their families. That is true. Jesse says, what's up, Nick?
What's up, Nick?
Hey, Jesse, how you doing? There he is.
There you go.
And then Janine
Pettit. Janine Pettit.
Where Janine is, she's probably in New Jersey. Janine, tell us where you're at. Janine is the girl camper lady, or the girl camper girl, I should say, or the girl camper. That's all we have.
Right.
Girl.
Michelle, that's right. Michelle, have you joined? Well, not the girl camper. I was thinking RVWA. Janine's over at the girl camper. No, I was off track there for a minute there.
He's a little slow. He doesn't know what
day. So did you mention the gas prices? I was doing something else there.
To the gas prices.
All the gas prices. So here, I believe they're for regular gas. I think they're 130 or 140, and diesel's 240. The lowest we saw, what was it? Was it
118?
118 for regular, and that was out in the middle of nowhere.
So your route, Nick, basically for those people that might want to do that trip, and I know that Walter's got his trip planned, and Jerry's probably already done this a couple of times, but you came from Connecticut over 84 to 81, right out to Scranton, 84
Correct.
All the way, 81 all the way down into northern Tennessee, northeastern Tennessee, and then 81 ends there and runs into 40. So you've been on 40, and your plan is to go 40 as far as you can, or where's your first stop after this?
So we, like I said before, we left without a plan. We just know, hey, we need to hit the old stomping grounds out west. So we took off without the plan, and then as we get into a day or two, then we start to make the plan. It's turned into we're going to hightail it straight out. So we're just going to stop. We're not going to overdo it. Maybe 8-10 hours a day driving. So only another day and a half left. And we're going to get out to the dunes. We're going to do our riding, meet up with our friends who we haven't seen in 1 and 15 years. And I know there will be some folks watching. We've been quarantined. Everyone's been quarantined, and we will continue to quarantine once we are at camp as well. So nobody will be touching and hugging or anything like that. But then once we get out there, then we're going to take our time and make our plan back home, which that can be an additional 1 to 2 weeks. We don't know what it'll be yet, and that'll be mostly to show the kids the things that we saw as we were kids, and they haven't gotten to see yet. So they haven't done a lot of out west.
Let me catch up. Let me catch up with people that may have joined a little bit late who were thinking that it was just going to be John and I tonight. Nick is one of our nerve dealers. He owns Unlimited RV down in Connecticut. They rent motorhomes, sell new motorhomes and trailers and the like. And we found out that he had put the family into an RV, one of his own RVs, and headed west. So we said, well, along the way, why don't you call in and tell us how you're doing? So we appreciate you you're doing that, Nick. And if anybody's got any questions for Nick and Michelle before we let them go, throw them up there. Don and Mark Polk just joined. That's great to see them.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, Nick said he left without a plan, and Walter probably had a coronary there because Walter has Walter being the engineering type, he has a trip plan for like 2028, and he's got every rest area stopped. He's got everything plotted, and it's kind of amazing the beauty of RVing. Wouldn't you agree, Nick? That you can, Nick and Michelle, you can do it either way. You can just drift and figure out, flip a coin when you get to the corner of two interstates, which way do we want to go? Or you can do like our engineering friends do and plot every mile of every trip and every minute of every day. That's one of the beauties of RVing.
Sure is.
Frank Hates is on from Lynn. He says, glad you mentioned about the RV traffic on the highways from your personal experience. Was wondering about this since I am taking delivery 421. I'm hoping we'll have no issues going from Maine to Lynn, Mass. Well, you shouldn't have any. Hopefully, you wouldn't have any issues from Maine to Lynn, Mass. That's your new Airstream, right, Frank? I think Frank just bought an Airstream. Janine says $1.18. Wow, yeah, that's a nice price. Jesse says Nick is good people, best rental service in New England. Michelle says, I belong to RVIA and interact with the girl campus. Oh, yeah, I know that. Yeah. You've done, Michelle's done videos with her on Rolling on TV. Let's see. And
you got
Chris
Nick,
says, hi, guys. Hope everyone stays well. Without a plan, Main Good Sam says, hi, all. Walter has.
Look at Bill Self got a little promotion there for you, but we should let these guys go because they've been stopped for an hour.
Yeah,
Nick,
you stopped at the rest
it's only
area.
6:15 there, right?
Huh?
What's that?
It's only 6:15, so you want to get a couple more hours in?
Yeah, we're gonna get a couple more hours. We want to stop somewhere near the Cadillac Ranch. Kids haven't seen that in Amarillo, so we'll find a place around there, and then continue on in the morning. So
You're heading southwest or straight west?
We're straight west to Amarillo on 40 now.
Amarillo by morning.
Yeah.
Amarillo by morning.
Thank you very much for stopping and joining in and doing. Maybe we'll do it again in a couple of weeks on your way home, and you can tell us where you've been.
Did you tell us the temp? Did you tell us the temp yet, Bob?
No, we didn't. We stopped here. We thought, this will be a good time to stop to get gas and everything. And we stepped out, and you're kind of in your own little tomb here, and you think, oh man, it's getting a little warm outside. Then you look at the temperature; it's 88 degrees, and the last time that we stopped for fuel was 4 or 5 hours ago, and that was in the morning, and it wasn't near as warm, so probably in the 60s.
Wow!
All right. Well, look at you guys. Travel safe. Have a great trip. Sounds like a great family vacation, and we'll catch up with you down the road.
Sounds good, guys. Thanks.
Bye,
guys.
Bye.
So since that, Chris Doherty has joined us. Chris is probably over in Springfield area. Jesse, without a plan. No, not Nick. Hey, here's the best line of the night. Outside of Bill Sell's line about, wait a minute. Bill said that the famous Bob Zagami is quoted in David Meerman Scott's new book. You want to tell us about that, Bob?
Well, I am. I collaborated with David on the RV section of his new book, Fanocracy, and Toby O'Rourke is in it, and we have some stuff in there on the Go RVing, and it's available now. It's been out since January, but you can also buy it on Audible or download the book on Audible, and it's all about creating great fans for your company or your business or your organization or your TV show. Either way.
Okay. So what else we got here? Oh, look at here's the best line. That was a good one, but here's a better one. Main Good Sam, of course, they have a new name now. That's probably Martin.
Main RV and Camping Club.
Well, he's still using the old name here. Hi all. Walter has 2065 planned out. Walter, that's 40 more years. You'll be in the back of one by then. But Estella's here from New Hampshire, working from home.
I already have one fan.
What's that? I got the book. Okay, Janine, got the book. Okay. Frank Cates, yes. Maine Good Sam, if a problem in Maine, go to Lee's Family Trailer. Okay, Jerry Plant, safe travels. Jason Cole, have fun. We got pretty much all of New England here for Good Sam. Bob, we talked about that briefly on Saturday night, but for those folks that are watching tonight that didn't get a chance to catch us on Saturday night, would you kindly give our viewers and listeners a little synopsis of what the current Good Sam status is?
There was some corporate changes, and what they have done is put the Good Sam Club on pause, but it's probably going to be a termination. And what they have done is released all of the state directors. So Martin was ahead of the game and quickly formed the Maine RV and Camping Club, and I know Walter's got some stuff in the works with Jason. So the basic club under the Camping World banner is gone, and they'll be reformulating, I'm sure, all around the country. So it'll be the same people, it'll be the same events. Halo's Wish here in New England, in the Northeast, is untouched. That's something that Joe and Jason developed, and the chapters are certainly embracing. So yeah, it's a little bit of a change, but it's possibly, I think it's a change whose time has come. They've got other things on their plate at Camping World, and now these guys can go out and have their own. I don't think we'll see an affiliation of all of them together, so I think you'll see the individual states. And Walter, if you want to,
there we go.
Put a plug in, put your new Facebook page up there, Walter. Martin, so people will know that. Let me ask you a question. We get a lot of RV folks on here, and there have been some factory shutdowns. That's to be expected. They're going to take a couple of weeks off and see when we get this thing back on. John, do you have your light on tonight?
I do.
Oh, okay. So Winnebago and Winnebago, Thor, Forest River, I think, shut down some plants today. But that's expected, and a couple of weeks shutdown isn't really bad. They'll just halt the production for a while. The dealers have already stocked up, so when you're ready to buy and go out there and visit the dealers, they've already got lots full of RVs because they were getting ready for the shows, and we had several shows canceled. So I'm sure Jesse and the guys that are on here that sell these things every day, they'll take your phone call tomorrow and they'll deliver it the next day. So we haven't stopped doing business. Some of the dealers should, based on different states and how they're categorizing essential business. For the most part, RV dealers, and we're working with the government to try to get them classified as essential businesses. And I think we'll be successful in that as we get a little bit further down the road. But all of them can stay open because they have auto service and repair. Some have chosen to shut down for a couple of weeks, again, just because it's slow. So they're going to take a couple of weeks off, but you'll see them coming back. Mm-hmm. But every one of our dealers, even the ones that have chosen to close, have opened up their internet sales, have opened up telephone service. You can get private appointments on the phone. You can get them to do a visual walkthrough with a video camera on the lot. You can do everything without going to the dealership. And Camping World and Campers Inn have announced home delivery, as have all the other dealers for the most part. So you can still look at their inventory on their website. You can talk to them on the phone and make a deal. They can overnight you the paperwork. Some of them are doing it electronically with electronic signatures, which is completely legal. You can do your financing over the phone, pick out the unit, and they'll bring it to your house for you, so you'll be ready to go camping as soon as the season runs. So we're not stopping business. That's for sure.
Not by any means. But, Bob, it's kind of a stressful time if you have the TV on, if you have the radio on, if you've got the internet going. I mean, there are stressful issues. And earlier today, I was talking to Audrey Foley Egan about, she works at a high-tech company, and, it's kind of stressing there. But she said they brought in a psychologist to tell them how to deal with stress in the workplace when you're working from home, because I'm sure everybody will agree, it's a totally different environment. And they said, one of the things that you want to do if you're working from home, if you start a project, finish a project, because that sense of accomplishment that you get from finishing something is really great. So Audrey said she looked around the house and she saw a bottle of something over there that wasn't finished, and something over there that wasn't finished, and something over there in the refrigerator that wasn't finished. So in a 1 hour period, she finished off a bottle of Merlot, a bottle of Chardonnay, and a bottle of Jack Daniels. And she said, I feel totally fine. I've never felt that stress-free in quite a long time. So it's true.
I'm sure she'll appreciate that story.
If you have something around the house that's not finished, folks, it's only 22 minutes into the show. Finish it off now, and then we'll put you on 5 minutes before the end, and we'll see if you're not a little more stress-free than you were when you started the show.
Well, Michelle stayed busy. She wallpapered the bathroom with some peel and stick wallpaper, and that's in a brand new Grand Design Imagine.
Why would anybody do that? Why, Michelle? Why would you do that?
She's turning it into a girl camper. She didn't like the off the shelf. She didn't want an Imagine that looked like the other 2 million Imagines that are on the road. I don't know how many they got, but it's a popular travel trailer, and she decided she didn't want one just like the person that she's going to camp to next week. Right, Michelle?
Maker's Mark. Yeah. Maker's Mark. Chris Doherty is Maker's Mark. Walter Swenson just finished off a Sam Adams. Don Barone says he's speechless. Hey, we got to say something. Don Barone Bob and I were watching independently, but didn't he do a great job in his show last night?
Don Barone did a fantastic. Make note, if you like, I can't call it fishing, right, Don? It's bass fishing, but Don writes about the people the anglers who compete in the Bass Master Classic. It's real simple. His Facebook page is Don Barone, and he launched his own Facebook show, Facebook Live, Be Live, last night with his very good friend.
Can you punch up his name there? Well,
I will.
Okay.
I will do.
I want to tell them about that show, folks. If you like the backstory of sports, and he had on Bob Lee, who was on ESPN for 30, 35 years, and they worked together for a long, long time, putting on some phenomenal things. And the thing with Barone is he worked behind the scenes, and he was kind of like the outside agitator, the instigator, and Bob would go on camera with it. But they talked about some of the crazy stories that they did during a long period of time, with many of the names that the statute of limitations is not up on many of them. But if you go to Don Barone, DonBarone, go to his personal Facebook page and scroll to last night at 7:00, and you can, I believe you can see a replay of the show. It's really worth. Oh, Outside the Lines, ESPN. That's what he did. Outside the Lines.
Don Barone. I'm not Don Barone, but that's Don Barone's name for how you spell it.
Ley.
Ley. Yeah. What'd I do?
You spelled Lee.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
But isn't it Ley, Don? I think it's Ley. So I'm trying to convince them to do the show with a little bit more regularity, where people can write in with, hey, what did you think about Thurman Munson? Or what did you think about, Dave Stern when he was commissioner of the NBA and that type of thing? And
it's been a long time since I laughed as hard as I laughed at that show last night. Yep. The stories were fantastic, but if you like, and you don't have to be a fisherman or an angler to like the show, because they covered basketball and baseball. They covered all sports, and the stories that they told were absolutely fantastic. So you get a look into decades of sports stories, and they rattled them off, and they just did a fantastic job. So congratulations, Don. You did yourself proud last night. And Don's bashful. He doesn't like to do all that stuff.
But what does his website get? What is his Facebook page? His website gets, 1 million views a month, right?
No, I think some of his stories.
Yeah, right. The stories
have been read by 1 million people. 100,000 or 300,000 is not unusual.
More than we've had combined.
But if you have friends that do follow, the Bass Master series is like, to fishermen and to anglers, that's like their NASCAR. They've got the same kind of sponsors. They got the same kind of competition. and if you have people that like to go bass fishing, that they'll know who Don Barone is. You tell them.
Right.
You talked about Don.
Hey, Bob, let's take this next moment to we'll do our commercial in a second, but let's take this moment to ask our audience that's watching right now if they go fishing, because there's that big discussion that Don has always said that he could never understand why the RV industry never promoted themselves at those bass events where they had a couple 100,000 people down in Birmingham, Alabama, and not one RV on display. So, folks, if you're watching now, just tell us over on the right, yes, I fish, don't know I don't, or just put fish next to your name, and we'll get back to that other stuff. So, in the meantime, see, Baroni's so funny. Get back to RV stuff. I have to go to the bathroom. So, and if you have a Greyhawk, we'll tell you that Greyhawk. Yeah.
Greyhawk.
Okay, so look, we got fishing people here.
Now watch out before you get yourself in trouble. Watch out.
Right. So, folks, here's what we want you to do: is to take time to just hit the share button. You know this spiel that I do every Jim Beam.
That's not Jim Beam.
That's Jack Daniels. Jim Beam, Jack Daniels. Isn't that the same thing?
No, it is not the same thing.
What has that got to do? Hey, I'm trying to be serious and promote this show, and you're showing.
Well, they were talking about finishing off bottles, so I thought maybe they'd want another one. Okay. That's the top of the line. That's Jack Daniels single barrel. Give it a break.
Single barrel.
Ed Herbert, do your commercial because we got a lot of fishermen or anglers on there. Hello, Chris Andro.
Okay, yeah, Chris sent hello a little bit earlier. In fact, Chris and Don live right near each other. Chris is down in the Waterbury area. Don is in where Hugh Blind used to be. Farmington. Yeah, Charmington.
Charmington, as he likes to call it.
As he calls it, yeah. But, oh, my, love that. Oh, my, love
that.
How
about the Jack Daniels?
Oh, that's what he was talking about. So, okay. Oh, by the way, Don, Bob, wait a minute.
By the way, John, are you going to do the commercial?
I did it.
Oh, you did it? Okay.
I did it already.
So, all right, on to the next thing.
Wait. On Saturday night, we had no idea if we could do a half hour without getting bored and turning it off. And what do we got? Like 6,000 views.
About 6,000 views from Saturday night, yeah.
And here's what I think that means, is that RVers are a passionate group of people. They're people that love RVing. They love the outdoors. They love meeting other people. And you know what? They're good all-American people. And the way they came out to support us the other night, I'm just amazed with the turnout. I think you are too.
I was blown away.
And we just want to thank you so much for doing that.
Laurie Vale joined us. I love Laurie. She likes a lot of the stuff. She's a real good fan.
Where's she from? Vale?
I don't know. I think
Laura,
New Hampshire. Vale? Up in New Hampshire, Laurie?
Laura.
Laura Vale. Yeah.
Laura Vale.
Yeah. You do that. So, Frank Tate says, don't go fishing, but I have fish every time I went out for supper.
Oh,
Can't call it supper anymore. The PC people want us to call it dinner, but we grew up calling it supper.
Lisa has her own boat. Brian has a Chris Craft. Look at that. Owned by Winnebago now.
Chris Craft owned by Winnebago. Yeah. Okay,
so since Barone went to the bathroom, we have Ed Herbert said, sorry, I'm late. Don Barone. Get back to RV stuff. Okay, Janine fishes. Michelle doesn't like it. Steve is a boater. Mike, they got two boats in that whole thing. Janine, catch and release. Ed, I love to fish. Chris, what'd he do? Put a picture of a fish up there?
Chris says, she's worked for Hemlock Hill. Okay. Hey, Chris, here's an idea for you. Did Chris say he fishes?
I think he's got a picture of a fish up there. I can't see it. Chris, tell us what the hell that is. Sorry, I shouldn't have said hell.
Something next to the name. Yeah, I can't tell that. So Chris.
Lure dog? A lure dog.
The reason I asked Chris if you fish, I got a marketing idea for you. Because Barone is right up in Farmington. He is world famous. He's got 100,000 people.
Reading his story.
sometimes 1,000,000 people read his stories, and seeing all this reaction from people who fish. And one of the early stories that we had with Don when he told us about the Bassmaster Classic, which, much like the Daytona 500, they start off the season with the Bassmaster Classic, and they do a consumer fair with everything and anything relating to fishing, boats, gears, rods, you name it. They get 50,000 people at this fair, at this exposition, you should call it. And okay, you do deep sea fishing. Okay, so here's something for you, Chris. 50,000 people at the expo at the Bassmaster Classic.
How many RV displays, Bob?
Some of those guys, wait a minute. Some of those guys have truck campers. Some have trailers.
Yep.
Not a single RV manufacturer displays product at this classic with people who do outdoor activities. So, Kevin, if you're still on, you should talk to Cougar. If you want, I'll make sure we get you all the information. But some RV manufacturer should be exhibiting at that. But locally, Chris, at one of your open houses, if you had Don Barone as a guest signing his book or his autograph, I'm sure you two Connecticut guys could work something out. You don't need me to plan the event, but let me just plant that seed for you.
3 weeks ago.
Look at that. Don Barone says, I'll be right there.
You were looking above that. 3 weeks ago, 122,000 people in Birmingham. Were you in Birmingham, Don? Was that Birmingham? I'll be right there.
Yeah. So there was 122,000 people, and there wasn't one RV manufacturer, nor was there one RV dealer in the neighborhood showing our products to people who are outdoor enthusiasts. And what are we spending all our money on in the Go RVing campaign and in this industry today? To get in front of people who enjoy things in the outdoors, whether it's fishing, hiking, boating, you name it. Lance Truck Camper Country. Janine, you're right. And 2 or 3 of those anglers actually do have Lance Truck Campers because they have to tow their boats behind their pickup trucks and their truck campers. So that we actually talked to Lance Camper about that in the past. I talked to Bob Rogers and said, why aren't you guys exhibiting at this expo? Why aren't you showcasing and supporting the people that are down there?
But Bob,
so yeah, it was Birmingham, Alabama.
Bob, what do you and I know about that? We only deal with dealers and owners all day long. They deal with an advertising company, probably somewhere, with people who have never been in an RV in their lives. So why should they ever listen to people that have their ear to the ground and actually talk to people that are RVers? It doesn't make sense that they would listen to us instead of listening to some advertising agency person.
I think you're right. I
know I'm right. Now, somebody said, Brian Patton said, hey, do you think we'll be camping by Memorial Day weekend?
Brian,
do you think we will be camping by Memorial Day weekend?
My guess is yes. I think we will. In fact, I've set up a conference call tomorrow morning with the 5 state directors for the private campground, so the Mass Campground Association.
Tomorrow or Friday?
Oh, I'm sorry. Today's Wednesday. Friday morning. I've asked them to come on a conference call, and I'm going to brief them on everything we've been doing and communicating with our RV dealers and give them a sense of their optimism and what they think. And I want to hear from them what the individual states are doing when they think they're campground. So we'll do some reporting on that for next week. I'll give you an update on some of those the topics that we talk about. My feeling is we'll start to see this loosen up a little bit in April, and it's not going to be 100% free, but there's going to be certain things. I think it's going to be certain areas of the country for sure that are not as seriously impacted, and I think there'll be a lot of outdoor activities that are going to be permitted. And so far, none of our states have closed down our campgrounds. Some state and national parks have been impacted. But it's a question now of the local campgrounds, when they can open, and when they do open, what's the configuration going to be? And for the most part, it will be they'll rent the campsites. They will not open the pools. They will not open common areas. They'll have practice social distancing in the office. They'll limit the number of people that go in the office or in the store at one time. but my gut feeling is that's what happened. Now, Chris, Chris is one of our favorite deals because Chris actually goes camping every weekend.
Yeah.
What are you hearing from your campground that you go to, Chris? And what do you hear? And Kevin, if you're talking to campgrounds at all out there, what are you hearing?
So Bob, before they answer, let me just say one thing. While you were babbling, while you were saying something very intelligently about whatever you just said, we found out that Kevin and Chris are going to work something out, and they're going to get a couple cougars over there. And they've already put the deal together. In fact, they've got a date already. And they said if we come down, they'll give us free hot dogs. So if you look closely, you can see that Chris, Kevin, and Don are working a deal out.
Well, that's the other thing too, Kevin. When you're next time you make a run through after your travel restrictions are lifted, and you're coming in. In fact, I'll tell you what. If you guys will do it, Kevin, if you'll come in and Chris is game for it and Barone's game, Nervdu will take you guys all out to lunch and we'll kick that idea around and see if we can't make something happen. Even if we do it at the local level first so that Chris can take advantage of it here. We'll make some things happen with that.
Yeah, maybe that hot dog place down in Waterbury that Chris sent me to. But
Chris is still shooting for May 1st. That's even more optimistic. I like that even better. And Brian says, thanks, we appreciate the follow-up. Yeah.
Normandy says they will open in April. And somebody said, Jerry said that Born Scenic is supposed to open next week. I don't know.
I think you'll see that because, well, let's face it. After people are cooped up in their homes, they're kind of their self-imposed, quarantines of some sort with their kids and their in-laws and everything else. There's going to be a lot of people who want to go camping real soon, and they don't want to do it in their driveway. They want to get out and do something else.
Bob, I was talking to my brother today, and he said, you should discuss the fact that when people are RVing, they are in fact self-quarantining because they're totally enclosed and they don't need to be out in crowds. So if they want to go to a campground, that may have room, they don't necessarily have to be around a community campfire with the whole rest of the congregation that's there. So they're still doing the same as sheltering in place. They're just in a mobile shelter.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which I thought
they go out walking. They can walk 6 feet apart.
Yep.
They can do that.
Yep. I have a reservation, small campground, 20 miles north of Boston.
That must be Minuteman.
What would that be?
Minuteman out in Littleton.
Acton, Middleton, up there.
Who's got that? Is that Frank? Frank, is that? I think it's Minuteman out in Littleton. Years ago, that used to be KOA many years ago. So it was.
So Brian Patton says Bornick Scenic Park pushed back opening day to April 10th. So that's a couple of weeks, 3 weeks maybe.
Jim Conboy from New England Roof says, has anyone heard what the state is doing for the state parks and what the feds are doing for the National Seashore? I really haven't. I've been, paying attention to my dealers this week. But like I said, Jim, I don't know if you just joined, but Friday morning I've got a conference call with the executive directors of the state associations. We're going to get a lot more information there. Chris says coolest thing about RVs is they will not give up that family time, RVers, and I'm not going to for sure. No, I'm not going to, and John's not going to, and most everybody on here is not going to. Oh, okay, so it was RVers, yeah. But
Bob, here's another important point that I think we should make to our viewers, in that during these coming weeks and maybe months, however long this stretches, this show is going to have an extended outreach to the parks and the people in the campground industry, because them without RVers is no good. It's no business. And RVers not knowing what's going on with their favorite campgrounds is not good either. So you're going to see an extensive outreach to the people that run the campground facilities, just like you've seen an extensive outreach to the people who sell the RVs and the manufacturers of the RVs, as was evidenced by our trip. Seems like 2 months ago. It was only 2 weeks ago tonight that we were in at Winnebago out at the Airplane Museum.
Right. Walter Swenson says the state of Mass temporary suspension of camping, pavilion, picnic area reservations until April 6th. Is that reservations, Walter? So that if somebody already has a reservation, are they going to allow them to go in? And let's face it, April 6th is only about a week and a half away, so we'll get a lot more clarity as we get into April. Jim Turntine, who RV Self Park out in Missouri. Hello, Jim. He says things are picking up. His self park is open in Missouri, just south of St. Louis. Also uniquely working with local hospital to house staff needing self-isolating during this crisis. That's a good point. A lot of our RV dealers are providing emergency management vehicle and temporary quarter vehicles. And Jim, I don't know if you were on the beginning of the show. We had Nick Wright on from Unlimited RV in Connecticut, who's took us, the kids are out of school, so they said they're going to take a cross-country trip in one of his rental motorhomes. So they're heading out to California in the sand dunes. They're going to do some of that dune buggy stuff. Maybe we can convince them to come back home to St. Louis and do a report from your self park on his way through. So we'll talk to him and see that. Okay, Walter, no camping till April 6th, and DCR will reassess. Okay. So let me ask this of the fans that we have. How many of you already have your RV ready to go? Have you de-winterized it? Because we're going to start promote. Don't forget, a lot of our dealers, even though they may not be selling, the service departments are open. So again, we mentioned on Saturday night, get your appointment now. They may be a little bit slow. Get your appointment, get the unit in, and get it ready. Because if everybody waits until the dealers open back up again and the government starts to release the restrictions that we're in, it's going to be a long wait. And especially if Chris is right, and I hope they are, as far as April 1st, a lot of people will not be going camping Memorial Day because they won't be able to get their rigs ready. So this is the time to do it. You got all of April to get those units ready and get them going. But how many people have them ready?
Now, Bob, we have a very prophetic Dwayne Cyrus, who actually was our guest 2 weeks ago. Dwayne is one of the high-ranking people in the Winnebago hierarchy, and he was our guest 2 weeks ago. And Dwayne said, you can't take sex, booze, and weekends away from the American people. And he's quoting John Hanson, founder of Winnebago.
The original founder of Winnebago.
I don't know if it says it.
Wait, Dwayne, I've never heard that quote before.
They didn't mention that last week.
I'd certainly be willing to put it up on our website if you could show me something official. It's not
if
that
he wants a job.
Right. It's not that I don't believe you.
I don't think it's on the visitor. I don't think it's on the wall of the visitor center.
I don't remember seeing that when I was out at Winnebago last year. I don't remember seeing that on the wall.
Hospital. No, Jim.
And I haven't seen it on the back of anybody's Winnebago either. But I do know some people who would probably put it on the back of their Winnebago. I think it would look good on the back of your Winnebago, DePietro.
Yeah,
if Barry Bedford
I stay out of trouble, so I better just not say anything there. Michelle Fontaine, I'm working on positive things. This virus could have happened midsummer. Yeah, I know that's a good way to look at it. Always ready to roll. Mark is always ready to roll. That's true. Brian Patton, ready and booked for the summer. Brian, tell us where you're booked for.
Yeah.
And Mike has another comment. Brian had a camper come in today to de-winterize for a family to stay in for housing. And Ed Holder, Ed's out is Ed in Texas?
Huh?
RV Tips, are they in Texas?
Yeah.
Ed and Debbie. Anyone that has a campground and want free advertising, just message me and I will post your campground. Okay, there we go. If we have people here, do we have any campground people here? Anyone that has a campground and wants free advertising, message me and I will post your campground on RV Tips, which has, I think, about 160,000.
About 160,000 people. I noticed that Ed had been posting that a couple of times the last week or so on the site, on the Facebook page, to tell people, let them know.
Now, Ed and Debbie are one of those smart people that are on the campground side of the equation, and they're with us every week. I mean, they haven't had us, good a time on Wednesday nights since when they came on the show a month or so ago. So Dwayne is going to send us a photo of that quote.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
Michelle Hogan, Jerry and Brian are correct. Bourne Scenic Park opens on Friday the 8th. Oh, they're going into November. So
in November. So that's an interesting thing too. If they open up a little bit later, how many will actually stay open past Columbus Day and stretch it to the end of October or into November to do that?
Texas.
So Jerry got a bad windshield, so he can't take off.
I don't know. He said he had a smashed windshield, but Jerry, there are people that waiting for a windshield. Maybe he had to reorder it. It must be on your truck, right? Well, I would imagine.
He said it was I thought he said it was on the motorhome up above a little bit.
Oh, it is. Okay, that's right. That's right. He doesn't have a trailer.
Yeah. I think he had that. Yeah. Right. So you do that. Debbie, how'd you like John's video cooking his sauce the other day?
Oh, wait a minute. No, I made that was one day, but then last night I made. Oh man, we had no idea, but I had hamburger, I had potatoes, and a red pepper. So I sauteed the red pepper, cut up a potato, and put in a pound of hamburger and mixed it together. Personally, I won't do it again. Sausages are much better. But man, you'd have to put a ton of salt on that to make it look good.
I'm sure he's not. I'm sure he's not as good a cook as you are, Debbie. Chris has a serious note in all this levity. We told you it was going to be fun tonight because we had determined that we are not going to lose our faith over this. But Chris says, seriously, I think we're going to be overrun trying to get everyone ready who waited to the last minute. This is good. This is a smart dealer. We are being proactive and calling our customers. But great point about don't wait. So if they don't call you, you call them, and we'll make sure that
once you're out of the freeze zone, if it's going to sit in your yard, whether it's winterized or not winterized, it's not going to make any difference. And we're pretty much out of freeze territory now. Once you hit the 1st of April.
Yep.
So
we put up last week we put up some of Chris's service specials, and he picked up the new Coachman Nova Class B.
Oh, the Novo, yep.
Yep, and so that's. But go to Hemlock Hill RV, and you can see all of their service specials on the site. And make your appointment and keep all those guys down in Connecticut really busy.
And I haven't seen join us late. Let's see if he does. Is
Rick Kessler?
Friend Kessler. He usually drags in about 10 minutes to go in the show.
I don't know. He may have had a long dinner tonight because he usually would have been here by now. So
well, I don't know. Whatever. He's kind of like on a different time zone anyway. But you want to go into that? Let me do that thing there.
Which one?
Great plan. Sahara working with Safe Life Repairs, Safe Life Replace.
What are you talking about?
His windshield, Jerry Plant.
Oh,
his windshield. It's got a Sahara. Yeah.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
So anyway, folks. Thank you so much for everything you do to share this program. And you know what? Look at. People don't have anything to do, so they can watch replays of the show all day long. In fact, if they go to our Facebook page, every one of the shows that we've done for the past 2.5, almost 3 years is there. So, forget watching a Tom Brady marathon on ESPN. Watch a Bob and John show all day long tomorrow, starting at noon. And you can watch one every hour, and watch 6 a day for the next 8 weeks, and you'll still have more that you haven't seen.
Yeah, and I do want to make a plug out for KOA because Whitney Scott was going to be our guest. She's the VP of marketing.
Yeah,
we had that lined up months in advance, but with the current climate and KOA, trying to keep track of who's opening up in their network and getting their people, so they asked if they could reschedule a few months out, and we certainly wanted to accommodate them with that. And next week we actually have Mark Howlett, the VP of marketing for Truma, on. Truma came into the country about 5 years ago from Germany with hot water systems and heating systems that really revolutionized the domestic marketplace. But they took their time. They started very slow. They wanted to make sure their facilities were up. They made sure their service and support were up before they started training the dealers. And they've got some great products. And he's going to talk It's not going to be a sales pitch, but he's going to talk about the technology of their instant continuous hot water in the heating systems. And you see them on a lot of RVs now. A lot of manufacturers are putting, and I'm talking even up to the high end, people like Newmar and the high end Winnebagos, they have these products on them. And they'll be a good cross section. So it'll be a little bit different. But again, we're going to keep the focus on our show positive. You don't need us to tell you what's going on outside your house.
Yeah, exactly. And when we go to trade shows, they have the best desserts.
Right, German desserts.
Yeah, the guys wear short. The guys wear skirts.
Well, I don't know what they call those German outfits. Right. It used to be when we had Louisville, which was our industry trade show, they would set up a German Christmas fair on the middle day of the show, and they'd dress up in their German outfits and cook us that nice cider.
There's probably another name for them, but I call them skirts because I'm not socially socially astute.
I see.
I wear the same shirt every week with pants and stuff like that.
It says in the 90s in Texas. Well, we got little rain and snow here this week.
Yeah, where'd you see that? I didn't see it. Oh, there it is. Down. And by the way, Debbie said she thinks I'm a good cook. So if we ever get...
Wait a minute, Debbie.
Wait a minute. Aren't they coming here? They're the ones that come to Maine, to the place in Buffalo, New York? Are they the ones? We've had so darn many.
They come to Darien Lake.
Yeah.
Are you still on schedule? Yeah, that's a good point. Debbie and at Darien Lake in New York. Michelle Fontaine says, John, also nerded.com or your YouTube channel.
Yeah. So those folks that want to have a DePietro Zagami marathon tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Well, I do want to go back to Debbie's thing, though, about your cooking. Because there's no way to evaluate a chef. And you're not a chef, you're a cook.
I didn't call myself a chef.
Without tasting the food.
I'm a chef.
Unless you're prepared to ship some of your sauce to Texas, where she can evaluate it properly, I don't think she's qualified to say that you're a good cook.
Well, that's the big question. How would you get it there without defrosting it? They must have a way to put like dry ice.
Freeze it with dry ice. Freeze it, put it in dry ice, overnight it. Lederhosen.
That's
right. Who said that?
Mark and Mike. No, Mike.
Lederhosen. That's Brian. He just uses his father's. That's Brian.
Okay. Yeah. Ed, we are on hold, but we're still going. Okay, they're going up north.
Yep.
The funny thing is,
looking forward to next week. Mark is awesome. He really is. Truma is too. And I think Brian said that too. Brian said Truma is a fantastic product. Or maybe it is Mike, because Brian is now installing their products in our van conversions. So they do a lot of van conversions up there, and they would do a lot of, that's a Two Feathers restoration and design up in Deerfield, Mass. A lot of vintage, restoring of vintage trailers, and they also are a satellite of the RV Hall of Fame and Museum in Indiana. And Brian's got a couple of units there that if dealers are open, this is another thing you might look at, Chris. And Brian has a couple of old RVs. He's got a 1939 Schultz travel trailer, which is available to dealers to rent for open houses. And he's got a couple of other ones there, and I think he's working on restoring a Greyhound bus. But for an open house, it's a good idea for dealers that might want something a little bit different at their open houses to have Brian bring down a couple of his vintage units to do that. Okay, so Frank said he's not going to Minuteman. He's going to something in Salem.
Yeah, Salem. Yeah, Winter Point.
Winter Point in Salem. Never heard of it. Okay, good. And any of you folks that are going camping, we have that ability, as we showed early in the show tonight, to get you folks in on remote broadcast. So as you're going out there early in the season in a campground and you want to be on the show, get yourself set up, and we'll send you a link, and we'll have you on for 5 or 10 minutes. And as John said, we really want to emphasize our campgrounds. We know that you know where the dealers are. We know that you'll be going out to the dealers as soon as you can and buying a lot of new RVs when we come back. But, everybody's going to need our help on this, including our dealers. They want you in there, but get in there for your service. But we want to do some reporting from the campgrounds to show people that, hey, guess what, folks? They're open. It's fun.
Let's take it one.
Great outdoors.
If you're out camping and it's not a Wednesday night, what we would ask you to do is take a few pictures of the campground, then send them to Bob, and we'll be able to put them up here, just like we took a picture of Nick Wright's RV. So you don't necessarily have to be out camping on a Wednesday night. Most people will be out there on Friday or Saturday night. Take a picture of the facilities, the pool, the clubhouse area, even just your van, your rig at the campfire, and send it in. In fact, we should do that where every week we put up a picture of somebody and have the dealers give away a free weekend or a free night somewhere. Estelle, thank you so much. Grand Design Facebook pages are sending out a challenge to post a picture of your rig only. So, and Bob, I stand corrected. Lederhosen are short pants. But
that's what they wear.
That have the suspenders and stuff.
But that's it. They wear the short pants and they have suspenders.
Yeah, I thought they were dresses.
I think it's the same thing. Yeah.
No, they're pants. Pants is different than a dress. I thought it was a skirt.
No.
They're the pants that the Pinocchio wore, that outfit there with the suspenders and the thing across the front.
Stell says they're camping Mother's Day weekend. I hope we are camping Mother's Day weekend, please. Well, we hope you're camping Mother's Day weekend too.
When we get to New York, you can bring them. So, okay, that's what we'll do. Debbie figured it out because Frank hates nice idea. Have an internet Zoom program. We'll try to hook up live broadcast, Winter Island, blah, 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 internet Zoom. Yeah, we could do that. Or Frank, just take some pictures and send to rwzagami at gmail.com.
No, you do Bob Zagami at nerved.com.
That's even better.
Yeah.
Rainey, Lederhosen. Thanks, Rainey.
Did you like it, Rainey?
So we have come to the time where Frank Sinatra starts singing New York, New York.
Yeah. Any last minute to try?
Let's wish all of our camping friends in New York the best, because for some reason New York's being whacked the most, along with California. And you know what?
Yeah.
Just wish all of our camping friends the best health for this duration, and again, come out of it stronger than ever.
I agree. We will. And with that, we will close out this week. We'll see you next week with Mark Howlett from Truma. Stay safe, and hopefully we get some relief and we start climbing the mountain again and getting out there and RVing. So thank you very much. We'll see all of you folks next week. Bye, John.
Good night, everybody.